Yeah, there's something wrong with my face. I don't know. Maybe you can spot it! It doesn't matter. I don't know why I did that. You don't care about that. You're here for One Punch Man. One Punch Man! Season 2, Episode 3. The Hero Hunt begins. The whole point of this kind of... One sec. These are really bad plasters. They just take it out and it's already like that. This probably isn't the best idea considering that I'm about to do a lot of talking to put the plaster in my mouth. Also, this probably looks ridiculous. Point of an episode like this is to make people go, look at our villain. That's always the kind of, this was the purpose of it, to set Goro up as the villain and to show what he can do, like, and they have to do this for a lot of things, and honestly, as I feel like I talk about this a lot, as a reader of the manga, I feel like this is my main point, and I feel like they do it terribly. Terribly good! I'm sorry, this has got to come off, this is ridiculous. Goro was done brilliantly, to absolute justice, which is weird because he's a villain. Hey, okay, I'll stop with the jokes and get on with how it works. So, like I said, the main point of this kind of episode is to make everyone go, look at our villain, isn't he bad and isn't he intimidating, this is why he's our villain. And they do it really well. They do such a good job of showing this kind of stuff to us. So obviously the whole fight with Tank Top Master pretty much just kind of shows, like, from a base level, what he's about, and everything that goes on during that fight is just all to do with, like, yes, this is why he's so terrifying. So obviously that fight starts off with Moomin Rider, and Moomin Rider straight away, you know Moomin Rider does have a chance against Goro. Well, like, you know he's obviously, because Moomin Rider isn't particularly strong despite his heroism, and the whole point of that kind of scenario, like that whole situation with Moomin Rider, it's the kind of, I talk about this too much as well, is this an idea called Kill the Puppy. Kill the Puppy is basically a technique used in media and storytelling where basically you take something that's the equivalent of a puppy and you kill it, just to show how bad your villain is. So something that is so pure and innocent and beloved, like a puppy is. So in this case, Moomin Rider makes perfect sense. Moomin Rider obviously set the bar back in episode 1, what it is to be a hero, apart from, not in episode 1, in season 1, apart from Saitama, is to me, like, you know, he's my second favourite character. So they obviously set the bar of, you know, our villain going after the puppy in this sense was done, like, to a great extent. Obviously, you know, a lot of things, I think, before we get into the actual combat itself, a lot of the hype that they built up around Goro was done really well too. So obviously, for example, like Tank Top Master, someone of S-class level strength, who we shouldn't take for granted because he is S-class level. It's unfortunate that just through his role in the story, there was just kind of big up like other heroes and villains like this. Like obviously he did with Tatsumaki in the end of season 1, and there's a chapter where he does this with Metal Knight as well. It's not a spoiler because it happens in the past, it happens in between season 1 and season 2 when the Hero Association is getting rebuilt, and he does this with Goro here as well. But like he recognises the threat of Goro, right? It's what he does. And on top of that, he's also like Bang in this episode too is a great example of how to set up Goro as this big villain, because Bang is S-class rank 3, right? So obviously, you know, he is very powerful. You saw in the last season, he took on Dragon level monster, he swung at him and he lived. But he had to call in his brother because someone of equal strength to him, if not possibly greater strength, to Bang to say, I need your help. I need your help to track down this guy. And of course, he goes in, and then obviously the comment from Bomb as well, going, well, obviously you needed my help to do this. Like, if you need my help, this is a big problem. And obviously, just like after the fight happens as well, just the analysis with Tank Top Master, just going like, you know, he's deadlier than average monsters because an average monster rampages and destroys everything, but he uses technique. His strength lies in his technique, and he has the ability to take down people. He can target the weak spots of heroes and people. So that's just kind of like my analysis of him, like as like a hype kind of thing to talk about what he can do, but showing what he can do, which at the end of the day is kind of the most important stuff. Yes, brilliant. Absolutely loved it. Like, obviously, so the fight against Tank Top Master was absolutely incredible. I loved how they did everything for it. First of all, like, the Tank Top tackle, right? And when I first read it, it's not like a big moment or anything, but, like, they really just go in for it. Like, you know, the ground breaks apart, like, the wind, the muscles, everything. Like, they go all out for the Tank Top tackle. Tap. And I love what they did with it. And it was like a moment in when I read it, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, but watch it, I was like, whoa, Tank Top tackle! And I suppose they have to do this as well, so Tank Top Master can show his authority as an S-class hero, because he is the top level of hero, and it's our first kind of scenario of seeing an S-class hero in a one-on-one fight like this. And he, for a while, absolutely just decimates Goro. Like, obviously those few punches, the tackle, and Goro obviously just kind of gets up from this all and everything. And there's so many great moments in this fight. Obviously, like, Moomin Rider being Moomin Rider, just like stopping the fight, jumping in for the punch, because he's like, we did not become heroes to attack to kill humans. We come here to defeat monsters kind of thing. And he has this great moment of like being Moomin Rider, and it's so well done. And of course Garo being like, this is like one of the few nitpicks I have of this episode is the pacing of it. So obviously like when Tank Top Master goes off, and he's like, when he leaves, Garo's like, don't bother anyone ever again and we'll leave you alone. And Garo's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. Psych, as if. And like, I felt like that was done a bit too quickly. I feel like they could have slowed that down, especially with how they had the montage later on of like the monsters from before, like the Deep Sea King and like attack and everything like that. They showed a montage of some of those moments and I'm like, you could have maybe not have done that. And then maybe like stretch that moment out a little bit more to kind of trick the audience into proper, because like I knew what was going to happen, but it just was like, yeah, sure, I'll go as if, and then he turns back round. But then of course Tank Top Master he had words. Tank Top Master of course wasn't going to let this slide either. The whole like the second half of that fight when Garo gets serious, it's just done so well. That was like the moment, obviously, like he launches the punch. I just love how fast the little flick is. Like the thing is, I've been talking about the pacing a lot, and it's such a minute thing. Like I said, that bit I was talking about is so small for me, because the rest of this episode is just look at Garo go. Because the moment he starts using Water Flowing Rock Crushing Fist, he's like bam, and that bit where obviously like he's getting ready, he's like the old man, and then it's just like bam, Water Flowing Rock Crushing Fist. Garo looked amazing, and he just bodies Tank Top Master and the Tank Top Army. Speaking of them, this is one of my favourite things about this episode, is yes, it does a great job of being an episode of like, you know, look how big and bad our villain is, but at the same time it doesn't lose its One Punch Man charms, and that's from the lines, and that's from the character designs as well. So like, we see the Tank Top Army, they're all ridiculous. My personal favourite is Tank Top Mask, the guy who is tank top, who wears a tank top, but also wears a small tank top on his head and cuts out the eyes, so he's got like a little mask. He's probably who I'd be as a hero. I have to be realistic. I wouldn't be Saitama or an S-Class. I know I'd probably end up being someone like him or Red Nose, who I'm surprised we actually meet. Red Nose doesn't hold any kind of thing to the story, it's just that kind of stuff. But I loved how everything went down like that. Like, just the whole beatdown was incredible. And obviously, like I said, kill the puppy. Like, Moomin Rider, when Moomin Rider tries to actually intervene, he's like, Justice Crash, and he grabs him, and he just beats his head into the ground. Like, the noises are gruesome. You can hear, like, the grunts of pain from Moomin Rider as well. It's just done so beautifully. Like, when I read it, I was like, damn. But like in this, and like this is the beauty of sound, definitely, is just that go like you can hear it's the screams that really sell this kind of scene of Goro's massacre of these heroes, just going bam, 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 and then he's like, who's next? With his like bloodied face. Like I love that. I think they're doing it. That was a great job to show how much of a terror Garo can be. Something I do love about Garo though, especially in these early episodes too, is well like. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. What with the character of Garo is, yes, they're setting up to these big bad villain, and as you can see throughout this episode, like his main strength as a villain. Well, no, start again. Is well, first of all, Garo. One of the things I love about Garo is he's not the final boss yet. Like he isn't there, because most final bosses, like you look in other series, like they're these like kind of untouchable. These untouchable people who no one could like get near until the main character shows up for the final battle and finally someone can actually hurt this person. Whereas in this sense we are actually getting the opposite, and we get to see this final boss grow as a character, and he's like, you know, he takes the hits. Like he's not dodging all the punches, and he takes damage from Tank Top Master, from Golden Ball, and all these different heroes. This is where you see the true strength of Garo. This is what makes him so terrifying. His ability to adapt and evolve to situations and grow as a bigger and badder threat than he was before. Like this was just done so well, and obviously, like as Tank Top Master said, by the end of it, like he was the only person who was like, you know, I have to beat this guy here and now. Somebody's telling me if I don't, he's going to become a big problem in the future. And obviously, like, you know, the evil aura radiated from Garo to the point where he can even hurt Garo. It was done really well. Taranko, I think, was done in a great way too, because obviously we start this episode off with like Bang knocking him off to one side. And saying, like, you know, you're weak, get out of the way, like, you're no longer my student, and Bang was doing this obviously out of protection for him, because after he was going after Garo, he didn't want any more of his students to be hurt by this man. But Taranko still hasn't given up, and he wants to be, because obviously, like, at first I think it was cockiness, and like, you know, like, it's like he got the title of being Bang's #1 student, and Bang's such an esteemed martial artist in the world of One Punch Man. It's just that he's this character who is, like, he wants to live up to the name, and it's going more to him now. Like, he's not necessarily being a coward about this, and I like this because it reminds me a lot of Moon Rider and Deep Seeking, obviously just to a lesser level. Because as we see in this, like, you know, when he's hiding in the bushes, and this is what I mean by the use of sound, it really does really just intensify, like, the kind of scenario Chiranko's in. Like, he's very clearly outmatched by this guy, and these guys are getting beaten up the tank talk, and you hear the punches. More importantly, you hear the screams. The screams are like the people screaming in agony and pain over the damage that Goro's being dealt, but then he has that image of Bang in his head. He's like, right, let's go. And I really do respect Chiranko for what he did there, because it's not an easy thing to go into a fight knowing you're gonna lose, but it was the right thing to do. He felt like, not that heroic, yes, but more than anything, he didn't want to let his master down. He wanted to, like, he wanted to show that he could, like, be useful and, like, not back down from this kind of threat, and, like, making the Waterfall Rock Crushing Fist looking worse than it already can be with Goro using it. But yes, like, the fight goes down, and obviously everyone knows about it. Saitama finds out about it, and he goes to visit Moomin Rider. And what I love is, like I said, it doesn't lose its One Punch Man charm here, because Saitama in this whole bit was really good, because he just doesn't care about a lot of the stuff. Like, he cares about learning about Garo because of everything that goes on with martial arts, and I feel like this kind of bit gets a bit blown over about Saitama's interest in martial arts at this point, because the whole thing is, you know, that he learns about Garo from Tank Top Master as well, and he goes on to say about, like, oh, well, the martial arts, he's in particular, he's better at taking down humans than a normal monster would be because of his techniques. And then, you know, like, martial arts can be scary like that, and that's when Saitama starts to develop an interest in martial arts, because that might be where his challenge lies. And obviously, you know, we get some really good Saitama moments there. So, like, he's like, oh, can I just put the bananas here? And he's like, Moomin Rider's like, yeah, sure, and he just eats the bananas because they're for him, not for Moomin Rider. And then, like, when Tank Top Master intervenes, he's like, who's this guy? Just like, oh, you're the guy that got beat up the most. It's stuff like that I really like. And then, of course, when he goes to meet Chiranko later on, and he's like, hey, Champon, because despite the fact he met him earlier, let's see, it was just done really well. And obviously, one of my favourite, right, not obviously, let me explain. One of my favourite things about Saitama as a character is how human he is. And it's shown in the small details. So obviously when Chiranko was talking to him about the Super Fight tournament, this martial arts gathering where, like, he got cocky and entered, like, he's like, Saitama's kind of reading. I feel like this kind of could have been done a little better too. But, like, obviously Saitama's reading it, and, like, I think it would have been better personally, like, if they, like, as Chiranko explained the Super Fight tournament, if, like, it was all of a sudden change in Saitama when he mentions, yeah, you, like, it's a 3 million prize money, and then just Saitama's face just staring at it, like, that's 3 million. I can make 3 million one day. That, to me, is so much more human than a lot of things that characters do, because he's like, a normal human, if they've got a chance to make a lot of money, they're gonna do it. That's why people play the lottery, and I just love that moment. He's like, well, I'm gonna enter this tournament, and he just makes the decision, obviously, because he can find his opponent, but he's also like, money would be nice, though. He's not, I just love that kind of stuff. I love it. It's done really well. Let's see, didn't really talk about it, but, like, I'm on the topic of Saitama at the moment, is Saitama's whole, one thing I love is, like, it's just even Saitama doesn't really care about this kind of stuff fully too. Like, obviously when Chiranko goes over, he doesn't remember who he is, and then he's like, man, Silverfang's such a cool nickname. Yeah, and I'm the Bald Cape, and, like, I hope he gets a better nickname one day, a better hero name, but for now, the Bald Cape's my boy. Just that whole scene is really good at the beginning as well. Fubuki's just chilling with the crew as well. She's tried to blend in, and, like, you know, it's that whole thing of, like, you know, the strong crowd around Saitama, and it's just, it's Genesis' point being proven, because Fubuki's pretty strong, but obviously, you know, the strong want to learn from the truly strong. Any case, Garo again. Garo once again showing what he does best in the second half of this episode too, where he is just bodying, like, the fight against Golden Ball was really good. I love the minimalistic movements, and then obviously, you know, when Golden Ball, like, when he's like, right, I've learned everything I can, and this is what I mean about Garo's ability to evolve. It's done really well in this episode, where, like, obviously he's just like bam, bam, and then by the end of, within, like, minutes of fighting Golden Ball, he's like, I know this technique, and then he just deflects all of them and getting serious, and even just that little kick, just to show, like, yeah, this is nothing to me anymore. And also, like, we learned obviously a bit more about how brutal Garo can be, because at the same time, like, when Spring Moustache uses the Tomboy Thrust, he just takes it on his hand, no problem, like, because to get the hit in, and then just bam, knocks out Spring Mustachio. Yes, of course, like, there's a bit of censorship in there as well, because obviously, you know, when Golden Marble goes, you can't keep doing this forever, and Garo's like, well, you know, I'm not being stopped, so until someone stops me, I'll stay cocky. Which I get why they did that, but just in the original, he flips him off. He's like, I'm gonna stay cocky. So yeah, and then, like, he does And that's obviously really good, because obviously he does that, and then immediately the next thing is the bop. But yes, in any case, I'm really dragging this on. Another thing I'd like to mention is this is kind of the part of the story where I started to see like more about the Hero Association, the dodgy side of the Hero Association, because they're there to help heroes, and the people, but they are a corrupt organisation to me, at least from everything I've seen and from the side chapters as well. But like this was why one of the prime examples. This guy who is a high associate in the Hero Association is taking out girls for meals and giving them gifts from with the funds from the Hero Association, funds which he should be using and power he should be using to help out the public. He's not actually using. And the girls don't particularly like him either, but obviously he's got the money. So when, obviously, I love that scene. Like, this is where you start to see kind of, like, you know, this is where I was like, okay, Garo, there's something to Garo here as well. Obviously that scene with the kid before, but also this bit here too, where obviously this corrupt Hero Association executive is like, oh, if you guys give me a kiss, I can get you meet in my mask, and Garo's like, here. Bam! Like, it's just done so well. I love that scene, because I'm like, alright, Garo. Like, Garo was brutal, but, like, he was a good fighter and entertaining, but then he showed these kind of signs, and I was like, you know what, there's something to him. I didn't mention it before, but, like, a lot of the time I do speak about sound in these episodes too, and Garo's theme is playing a lot throughout this episode, and it should do, because it just really emphasizes everything that goes on for him. And then we get to the ending, which is one of my favourite moments in One Punch Man. It just, when it happened, I lost it, and watching it again, it was just done so wonderfully. I just love that more than anything, because in a lot of series like this, they build up like this you know, climactic meeting between the hero and the villain, and oh my god, what's it gonna be like, and everything like this, and you know, like, oh, I know who you are, I know who you are. But it's One Punch Man, and one of my favourite things about, like I said before, it doesn't forget what One Punch Man is. So of course Saitama just meets the guy nonchalantly on the street, and then Goro's like, who's this weakling? I better take care of him quickly. Boom! And then obviously it's a strong attack, because it smashes Saitama, like, it causes like a little, like, it destroys the ground around Saitama, and then he's just like, you trying to rob me? And Goro immediately realizes he's screwed up, and I just love the look on his face, like, sweat's going up. The impossible has just happened. Goro has launched an attack on someone, it's done nothing, the impossible's happening right now, the sweat is going up. I don't have time for this. Bam! And Goro's down. And it's just such a great way to show, yeah, Goro's pretty badass, isn't he? But he isn't Saitama. He's nowhere near Saitama. Because, like, the whole point of, obviously, One Punch Man is we should eventually meet an opponent that Saitama does find a match for. And maybe, like, and I think each time they try and go, this is the guy, is this the guy, is this the guy? And, like, I don't even think they try and build up any hype for it this time. Like, they're just like, nah, it's not him, it's not, no, it's not. And I love that. I just love how quickly Goro's dispatched. You'll see more of Goro if you're an anime only. I'll put that at the beginning, the anime only bit. But it's just done so well. I love it. And even the bit after the end credits, like, it's a bit of an awkward place to put that part of the story in, but it's such a funny interaction between Saitama and Genos, because obviously Saitama buys the wig, which is like £30, which Saitama is absolutely right, that's really expensive for a wig. And then obviously Genos thinks he's actually in it, just like he wants hair again, and because that's been a running joke between those two, and I just thought it was done really well. It was very funny. And obviously Saitama goes, yeah, I'm going to learn about martial arts. But yes, overall, I have my nitpicks for this episode, but no matter what, that is still a great episode. Garo was top. I feel like the nitpicks are just me personally, and I fully recognise this, because Garo was incredible throughout this whole episode, and I loved him. Like, everything he was doing was incredible, it was entertaining, he was just being, like I said, the point of this episode is to kind of like show what the bad guy can do, and we saw what he can do. We saw he's not a fully fledged final boss yet, but he's getting there, and he is insane. And like I said, such wonderfully done. Like I said, sounds such a big thing that really helps out the anime adaptation as well. But wonderful. Next time, the episode's going to be called Metal Bout. I wonder who it could be about. I wonder what's going to happen. I know, I'm looking forward to it quite a bit, as I'm sure a lot of the manga readers are. But that's all I've really got to say. Also, I did like little cute Fubuki in the opening too, like little angry Fubuki. It was really nice. It was cute. But yes, overall, great episode of One Punch Man. Like I said, very minor complaints, but that is just me personally. What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Why am I moving my arms around so much? I don't know! Cool, I guess we'll stop that now. Yes, what did you think? I'd love you guys to let me know if I can get the words out. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe. I need to learn how to, like, stop talking so much. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Cool. Thanks, guys.